Welcome to this 6-minute audio-described introduction to Eve Stainton's choreographic commission, Impact Driver. Your audio describers are Elaine Lillian Joseph and Shivangi Agrawal from SoundScribe. Impact Driver takes place in a church, at the centre of which is a large container. It is inside and around this container that 6 performers engage in welding, sound making, and dancing, using the welding as a metaphor for queer sexuality, specifically the celebration of the gender non-conforming lesbian and trans masc experience. The show is a sensorially rich and sometimes overpowering experience. There are moments of bright, blazing light throughout the show and some nudity. For those with sensitive hearing, ear defenders can be borrowed from the Access team. The welding container is a rectangular frame assembled from steel bars and is elevated half a metre off the ground. It is wrapped in an orange, semi-transparent plastic which has been clip-taut to the frame using small clamps. This wrap is a safety precaution to protect our eyes from the UV and infrared radiation emitted by welding sparks, which the performers buffer against by wearing welding helmets. These helmets have chunky, opaque shields that obscure the performers' faces, and with a backdrop of welding smoke, the helmets serve to give our performers a distinct mystery that we would describe as extremely sexy. The container is lit internally by 3 floodlights and externally by stage lights and a flashing light underneath the structure. When the container is in darkness, it's impossible to know what's inside, but we've had a good rummage and found 2 welding benches either side of a work table, 2 work desks holding clamps, angle grinders, and bits of steel in all shapes and sizes, 2 gleaming extractor tubes that suck away fumes, and, of course, 2 MIG welders with nozzle guns. Eve began welding during the 2020 pandemic. They enjoy the live negotiation and decision-making involved in the welding process, making visible how scenes and objects take their shape. Eve explains that this commission has come from a desire to connect with those who have shared lived experiences and who aren't represented in the dance space. All the performers in this work are queer and have mass-presenting identities. Eve is a tall, slim, white British person from a working-class background. They're a non-binary artist from Manchester in their 30s, with a shaved head and ear piercings. The sleeves of their denim black jacket are embellished with blue welding gloves that poke out, and they wear extra pointy cowboy boots. Imani Mason Jordan is the tallest performer in the show, with light brown skin and a close-cropped auburn haircut. They're a non-binary artist and writer interested in performance and poetics. They wear calf-length black boots over black jeans and an icy grey suede jacket with a hood. Romeo Roman Gatt is a white Maltese multidisciplinary trans masc artist with tattooed ears. He's got a buzz cut and wears an oversized suede jacket that glows amber like the welding container, with long sleeves that reach his fingers. He wears an apron of the same fabric, also with pointed cowboy shoes. Tink Flaherty is a non-binary 50-year-old performance maker and loving parent. As a working-class and autistic person, the work they make is always through this lens. They're white with short slit-back brown hair that becomes a quiff when pushed off their face. They wear burnt orange suede trousers like cowboy chaps that strap together a front and back panel. And let us assure you, these chaps can come off. This is paired with a pale grey jacket, and their cowboy boots are snakeskin and heeled. Once our performers spill out of the container, they dunk newly fused hooks into a small cooling trough that lies on the floor between the edge of the stage and the container. The hooks are then attached onto one of 2 sets of heavy-duty tow ropes. Eve uses the drama of welding to disrupt linear narratives of climax and asks how suspense can be sustained and heightened. Musicians Mika Levy and Leisha Thomas support the creation of tantalising suspense with a live score on red scratched electric guitars. They're positioned diagonally across from each other at opposite ends of the performance space. Leisha is a black masked lesbian musician who has a short cropped haircut. They wear a khaki jacket and dark jeans. Mika is a musician in their early 30s with a punk aesthetic. They're white and have short dark brown curly hair. They're dressed in dark blue denim. This is a highly immersive work, with audience members invited to roam freely through the space. Eve acknowledges that different audience members will feel differently and are keen to invite honesty into these encounters, leaning into the messiness of these negotiations. Shivangi and I have designed the audio description as an immersive encounter in itself. We will both be voicing during the performance, sometimes in dialogue with each other, sometimes welding together our separate perceptions. You might hear us audio describing audience members meandering through the space as they angle for a better view. Impact Driver lasts about 60 minutes and has no interval. A touch tour will commence on the day at 6:45 p.m. at the Mount Without.